Hi, my name's Bill Coulter and I grew up in the Australian bush. And today I want to tell you a story about an accident that I had a few years back now, and that's why one eye is a little bit different to the other eye. It happened on a Monday morning and I tangled myself up with a chainsaw. How the story happened, I'll try and paint a picture quickly for you, is that I'd been doing some work on a property and I've been raining and I went onto this property this particular day in my truck. I turned the truck around, which was one of the things that actually saved my life. Quite often you don't always turn up, you just go up and drive in and park and you get your chainsaws off the back of it. Well, this particular day I turned it around and pointed the direction I wanted to go. And I went down over the bank and was in a hurry because we had to move the dozer later that week to another place and we wanted to finish this particular job off. Anyway, I just did the wrong thing, hurry, whatever it was that got me, and the chainsaw kicked back and cut me between the top of that eyebrow there, through the corner of that eye, over the bridge, over the nose there, down through it there, out and through my top lip, got my gums on the inside. Quite a serious accident at the time. I was in the bush on my own. I packed up from there, kind of headed off towards the truck, and then I got probably 10 or 15 paces away and I put the chainsaw down. It was still running, so I went back to the chainsaw and I turned the chainsaw off and then went and got in the truck, and I know I was losing a lot of blood at this stage. And I went off, drove down the road, down through the paddock that I was working on, and out the other side, onto a road, and I drove a couple of kilometres to a lady's place that they just shifted in. They were still living in the garage, and she took one look at me, poor woman, and she threw a handful of nappies. She had a baby there, a handful of clean nappies that is, at me, and probably only one. Anyway, I jumped in her car and with the baby, and off we went. And it was a real muddy bit of road from there down to where we were heading. Where the only way out, there was no phone at this place, there was no phone in this whole area at this stage. And we went through this mud hole that lots of vehicles had been bogged in. It was really deep, slurry mud, and she's in just a two-wheel drive Mazda car, and she just went straight through the mud. She was in a hurry and she had to get through or we were in trouble. Anyway, went out a couple of kilometres further down the road, and she pulled up at a people's place, and the man was standing out the front of the house, back a bit from the road, and she'd blown the horn, and she jumped out, grabbed the baby, and he got into the car when she told what had happened. She jumped into the car, he jumped into the car, headed us towards the ambulance, because she went inside and rang the ambulance up to meet us. Anyway, we went from there probably another 6 or 8 kilometres to where we met the ambulance, and I got in the ambulance and I went through to the hospital, which was probably 30 miles away from there. I know I lost a lot of blood by the time I got there. Whoever it was in the emergency section jumped straight into the ambulance, and they put a drip into my arm straight away. And I can remember them talking. I wasn't very well at the time. Anyway, I was there for 5 days. They did an operation on the face and they tucked me back together again, and they put 75 stitches in my face. I left hospital after the 5 days and went back to the farm, and a couple of days later I was back on the dozer. Not to be tough, it's just hard work doing nothing, I find. So I was back on the dozer over the next couple of weeks. Part-time, only a couple of hours a day. I built a dam that became one of our water supply dams, and then after that, when I had the stitches out and all the scarring settled down, I had to have 2 operations on the eye because the scar tissue had tangled up in the eye muscles, and I damaged the eye, and it's still damaged to this day. I won't ever get any better. I've got double vision when I look down that direction. Other than that, I got out of it pretty well. I know that the 2 operations I had on my eye, they knocked me around badly, because I'm not one of these people who kind of volunteers to go and get something done to myself, I kind of, if it happens, well, it happens. So they knocked me around quite bad. I didn't enjoy them at all, and they were only local ones, but I didn't enjoy them at all. But that's basically the story of being chopped up with a chainsaw. It made me very much aware of how dependent we are on blood. And not long after I had that accident, I started giving blood to the Red Cross, and I think that it's one of the most essential things that we can do in life. We get, in the Western countries, we get so much, so good, and I just think it is so important to give blood. It's just one of the great gifts of life. You don't have to, it doesn't hurt anything, it doesn't cost you anything. It is just a simple little gesture that you can make to fellow man. And I think it's a pretty fair reflection on you as a person when you give blood. It changes the way you think. And this is the bit that really annoys me, is that only 2% of the people who can give blood, there's many medical reasons why people can't give blood, and age is one of the reasons that they won't take any blood from you. You get to a certain age, they can't take any more. And yet only 2% of people who are eligible to give blood. And I find that a very sad statistic. So if anything comes out of this, give blood. Go and make an arrangement to give blood, because it's a very precious thing to do. Anyway, that's my story about being chopped up by a chainsaw. I got out of it pretty well, and it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I'll see you around the bush somewhere. Thank you very much.